All right, let me get you under better attention. I met this brother here on Facebook. He was liking your work, and I saw a lot of his work on there. I saw that he was from the union, so I invited him to come out and talk to us. Here we go, Mr. Michael Gavin.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Man.
Is anybody in here really interested in becoming a mason, going to doing bricklaying, stonework? You guys right there? All right. So I started out basically right out of high school, working in a stone yard. I happened to get into the masonry trade through a guy I knew, and I apprenticed underneath him, and he taught me basically on-site training. I eventually got into the union the last couple of years, which I wish I would have done earlier. They have a great program, training program, and everything like that. But break it down for you real quick how I got into the trade. I am a 4-year member of the Philadelphia Local 1 Bricklayers and Alley Craftworkers. I received a historic preservation certificate through my union. Within the union, when you come into the union, you do an apprenticeship for I think it's about 4 years. Sometimes you can get it done faster, depends on how much effort you put into it. And in that process, they have classes you can take: historic preservation, refractory, which is basically laying brick inside of refineries, kilns, places like Cartech up in Reading, Pennsylvania. A lot of guys go up there and work on their kilns and whatnot because they make metal. They got that. They have terrazzo, which is flooring. They have tile work. They have stone masons. They have concrete finishers. We do a lot of concrete patching. Basically, what I do is I'm on the restoration side of the business. I'm in the swing, hang on the side of the building. We drop down, and I'm fixing anything brick, concrete, stone, anything like that. I started my trade. I was working on a stone quarry. I got in with a stonemason. I was with him for a while. I got into working at worked for a concrete crew. What we did was civil concrete work, which is basically working on highways. I did a lot of bridge work, climbing up bridges, forming bridges, all that stuff. Everything I've done is like dangerous work, but you gotta stay safe, obviously. You get paid really well for it. So I got my GED, but since then I've been going back to school, trying to learn more. There's the opportunities that are available when you get right out of high school. You can go to Williamson Trade School, which is in media, Thaddeus Stevens, which Mr. Jarrett was talking to me about, you guys were looking into. And there's also the apprenticeship with the union, Local 1. An apprenticeship basically is what it is you're working during the day, and then Saturdays you come in and take classes. And you're working during the day, you're getting paid 50% or something of what a regular journeyman, a full-scale journeyman would be. So you're learning at school, you're learning on the job. The more classes you take, the more you learn, the faster you get your apprenticeship percentages up. And once you get at 100%, you get full benefits, full rate. That's usually after 4 years to complete that. All types of classes to take, I really wish I would have took some extra classes, and extra programs, which I'm doing now. I'm looking to go into Bucks County Community College to take a historic preservation certificate. I want to take a refractory class to learn how to do the refractory work. The refractory work is actually a lot of money. I've done a refractory job where I've traveled out to Akron, Ohio, worked on a steel mill for 8 days. We rebuilt their kiln and made really good money. Everything's overtime money and whatnot. It's just really great. All this is good money. You just got to learn as much as you can possibly. As much as you can, keep learning. But I ended up in the historic preservation end of what I do. What historic preservation is basically if a building, for instance, John Coltrane, he was a jazz musician. And he lived in Philadelphia, West Philly. So the neighborhood, they want to deem his house historic because his house is significant to the culture.
The one on 33rd?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So his house is, is I think it was deemed historic. His house is deemed historic because he was an influential jazz musician. So once you deem a house historic, you get a plaque, and there's a thing called historic tax credits, where you can work on the building and the government will help you pay for this because you're helping to keep the historic fabric of that area alive. So basically what they do is they call me out, I'll come out as a mason. I would have to, if there's brick that needs to be replaced, stone that needs to be replaced on the building, I'd come out, replace it. You have to keep, if a building is deemed historic, you have to keep the original historic fabric the same. So if I take a brick out, I have to replace it with the exact same brick that was originally laid in that building. So there's also ways, they have a patching material, which is, if a brick's smashed up and we don't have the right brick, they have patching material that I can use that resembles the same color. I can build it out and patch it, it's basically Play-Doh almost, and it resembles the same brick that was originally there. It's part of the trade. It's interesting stuff. And, there's all types of different techniques we use in historic preservation. We have every tool, here is used for different things. This right here, if I wanted to patch out a carved piece of limestone that's decorative, like a flower, and you go to patch out, and then you carve it back out, and you mimic what was originally there. This is for brickwork. You run your joint, and you run this along the joint, and it'll finish your joint for you. Carving, chipping. This is for if it's a decorative mortar joint, patch it out, and then you use something like this, and you cut it back, and you had that ribbon joint on I don't know. I'd have to show it to you. It's kind of complicated, but we have tools for everything, and the historic preservation is very artistic. There's a lot of hands-on work. There's a lot of material science involved. We have to know exactly the right material, the right mortar. It gets intricate, but so.
Want me to show the video?
Yeah, show the video. Sorry. I'm a little nervous here, but no swings that hang down the building and you basically drop down and you're in front of the building working. You know, so if you're afraid of heights, that end of the masonry industry is for you.
That's the oh shucks. That the library.
Love the library?
Yeah, that's my whole thing. That's my
That's where
neighborhood.
you're from?
Across you from
Yeah,
there.
yep. Yeah, they did that was a huge like restoration job they did. I love Germantown, right there. I love the whole area. Yeah? Alright. I lived over in Falls for like 5 years.